Hey guys, today in SAO Integral Factor, we are going to look into how to make an integral weapon. So if you don't know how to craft an equipment, please look into my previous videos on how to craft an equipment, and that will give you a way to get into this page here where you can craft the weapon. So let's take a look into this Gushians, which is one of the integral weapons of the many different weapons that we have in the game. So when you go into this crafting page, there will be 3 different Gushian that you can craft. So if you look into all 3 of them, they have 3 different materials that is needed to craft the weapons, but they all have the same attack stats, as you can see there. So the material that is required to craft any of the integral weapon are going to be the same, as you can see in here with the rapier there and the bow here. They all have 3 different type of weapon, and each one of them will have the same materials to craft. These materials are going to be the material drop from the specific floor boss. So for the first one here, we'll look at the blazing armament stone, which is the material that can rarely get from Alos, which is the floor 13 boss. And then the second one is going to be crafted from the half-piece armament stone, which is from the floor 14 boss. And then the last one there is going to be the one-eyed piece armament stone, which is something that you can get from the floor 20 boss, the one-eyed piece. This armament stone material is a very rare drop from the boss, and by very rare I'm talking more than like a 1,000 run that before you can get one of them. So be ready to farm a lot if you want to find the material by farming. So the top materials there is a blazing flame arms here. This is the common drop that you can get from the boss. It doesn't always drop, but I think like almost 50% of the time you'll get that materials. So going back to the blazing armament stone here, or the armament stone in general. So this material is, you can get it with in 2 ways. The first way to get it is from farming the boss for sure. So from the board quest here, you can go into this quest there to fight Alos, or this quest here to get the Centaur armament stone, or this one to get the one-eyed piece armament stone. So we'll go into Alos this time, but it will explains that you can fight the boss in the board quest here, or you can fight it on the dungeon itself or a labyrinth. And I actually like fighting the boss on the quest board here because I can beat the boss pretty fast, and once you get into dungeons you fight the boss right away. Unlike when you get into the labyrinth, you'll have to traverse through the labyrinth before you can get into the boss room and fight the boss. But the benefit of fighting in labyrinth is that you can fight the boss with a party of 6. So if you're not strong enough to beat it fast, then that's another option. So we don't have any good info whether the labyrinth is going to give a higher drop rate compared to the quest board, but it's small enough that we can't really tell the difference. And the second way to get the armament stone is from trading your metal arts of combat. So every month this trade will be reset. So in 1 month it's only 1 armament stone available for you to trade. So in this example, the blazing armament stone is cost 44 metal combats, and the half piece is 47, and the one-eyed piece is 50 metal arts of combat. And it's only available 1 of them, as you can see there, but again, as I mentioned, it reset every month. If you're planning to get the armament stone from trading, I recommend getting the blaze armament stones to create the first integral weapon, because the other 2 there is actually another material where you can use to upgrade your weapon into higher stars. So let's take a look into the integral factor stats. So as you can see there, the random bonus there is showing the HP at and giving HP at 3000 points. So that stats right there is actually the same stats that you can get from the bonus of the epic, the lost epic weapons. And if you compare it to the normal weapons, you can actually get up to 1000 HP with the maximum 5 stars on a normal weapon. But yeah, if you use the Lost Epic equipment to upgrade, you can get that 3000 HP in there. And in terms of the other stats, like the attack and the defense, with this integral weapon, you also get a higher attack and defense stats from the weapons. So as you can see here, I already have a cushions, and the HP is giving 1500, attack is 15, and defense is 30. But on a normal weapon, you can only get the attack up to 10 and defense up to 20, and the HP bonus is only up to 1000 on a one-handed sword. So yeah, so other than the better base stats, it also gives a better random bonus on the weapon. So that's what makes this weapon worth the grind, because it's much stronger than the normal floor weapons that you can get. The floor 27 weapon is probably pretty close in terms of the stats, but with integral weapon you can upgrade this weapon into a stronger version of it, which is like going to the 4 stars and 5 stars. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the integral weapon requires your player to be at level 101 before you can equip the weapon. And if we upgrade it into a 5-star equipment, the level requirement still stays at 101. So now that we know how to create the integral weapon, let's take a look into how we can make it into a 5-star integral weapon. But before we do that, if you find this information helpful, please click the like button, and that will help me to create another SAO Integral Factor content. Okay, so now if you go into the transformation window, you will be able to upgrade the cushions here that we have. And it requires 2 materials. The first one is the half-piece armament stone here. So this is the reason why I mentioned that if you're planning to get the armament stones by trading the metal art of combats, it's better to create the first weapon using the lowest stone with the lowest cost, which is the floor 13 one. And the second material is the slicing stone plus. This is not a material that we can get from the monster drop. We actually need to craft this material from the slicing stones, which is a normal drop that you can get from the monsters and from the bosses. And there's another item that is required to craft this slicing stone plus, which is the core metal. So as you can see here, so you can craft it from crafting item there. And if you select the slicing stone plus, it requires 1 core metal and the slicing stone plus. So this core metal is another very rare item which you can get in 3 different ways. The first one is from the monster drop, which is something that is dropped by the floor 13, floor 14 and floor 20 boss. Actually, the current floor 25 and floor 27 boss also drops that material. And the slicing stone here is just another drop that you can get from those bosses as well, and any other bosses. And there's a second way to get this core metal, is a rare drop from fishing. So sometimes when you fish you will get the core metals from there, but you can also trade fish with the core metal. So if you get the highest level fish that you can get on the fishing map, for example the shiny marine here, so from 99 shiny marine you can trade it with 1 core metal. It's the same for the bicolor carp there, so you'll require 99 of them and you can trade 1 core metal, and it's only available 1 item per trade per month, because the trader will reset again in 1 month and you'll get another one. And you can also trade it with this lightning zapfish, and for 99 zapfish for 1 core metals. So this is, I think, is the easiest way to get the core metals, because you can see your progress easier and how many more fish that you need to get the core metals, comparing to farming it from the boss. And that's so far how I get my core metals. For the upgrading requirements. Once you get them, you can craft the slicing stones or the different type of stones there from the items here. And please remember that different weapons will require different type of stones. So the slashing weapon will require the red one, the piercing weapon is requiring the green one, and the blunt weapon requiring the yellow one. So don't craft the wrong one, otherwise it will cost you a lot of time to get the core metal back again. So in this example, we'll be crafting the slicing stones because I'm trying to upgrade my cushions, and we'll take a look after on what's the required item to upgrade it from the 4 stars to 5 stars. So if you upgrade your integral weapon into 4 stars, now you will be able to enhance it up to level 80, as you can see in there, and you'll get some nice boost of attack stats along with it. And then we will need to upgrade our weapon up to level 80 before we can enhance or we can transform it again into a 5 stars weapon. We're just gonna upgrade this weapon really quick. Once we enhance it to level 80, we will be able to transform it one more time, and this time it will require 2 one ice beast armament stones and 2 slicing stones, which means we will need 2 more core metals before we can upgrade it into a 5 stars. Upgrading it to 5 stars will make our weapon max level to level 100. And that's pretty much all the material that you need to upgrade your weapon, integral weapon, into 5 stars weapons. It's pretty expensive. So while we are at it, let's take a look into the Nox integral weapon as well. So this is a weapon that you can equip at level 121. So the material is similar to what you need to craft the integral weapon. You need 2 armament stones of the boss and 200 of the normal boss drops in there. And similar as the normal integral weapon, you can craft it using the 2 different bosses drops in there. But the cross gigas there is going to be able to be used for upgrading the Nox integral weapon into the 4 stars as well. So let's take a look into the comparisons of the Nocturne here, which is the dagger integral weapon, the Nox integral weapon, because this is the one that I have on the 5 stars integral weapon with. So the Nox one have an attack stats of 1156. It's the same as the 2 in there, and then we'll take a look into what the 5 stars integral weapon stats is. We're just gonna open up my inventory, and here's my Nocturne's 5 stars, and the attack stats is at 1197, and this is at max level, the 5 stars max level. And if you compare the two, the normal Nox integral weapon is not even upgraded yet, so that one still has better potentials, and it's actually easier to craft because you just need the armament stones and the 200 drop monster boss drops, and you don't need to collect any of the core metals. So I don't have a Nox integral weapon right now, so I cannot show you what's the upgrading materials that's required to upgrade to the 4 stars. But from the information that I got, we need the 2 of the Cross Giga's armament stones and 3 of the Stone Plus Plus. So it is easier to craft the Nox integral weapon at its base level, but it is harder to transform it into the higher stars. So if you're asking whether it's worth to just craft the Nox integral weapon or transform the integral weapon into the 5 stars, I would say it really depends. If you can level up to level 121 fast, then it's definitely worth to just get the Nox integral weapon because it's easier to craft, it doesn't require a lot of materials. But if you're lazy at leveling up your character just like me, it's still worth trying to transform your integral weapon into 5 stars, because that way you can get stronger in the meantime while you're waiting for your character to level up to level 120. So that's it for the video. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please leave a like and share and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so, and I will see you in the next SAO Integral Factor content. Bye now!